Okay, so this is Dr. David A. Padgett demonstrating the Women in Water assignment for World Regional Geography at Tennessee State University. So let's go to the assignment here. Women in Water, click there, click here, and here are the portions of the assignment itself. Okay, hopefully this will work out. So here's the assignment. It is a Word document. The objective of this assignment is to look at water access issues uh, in the in Latin America and the Caribbean and places outside the United States. How many of you? I'm going to actually ask you all a question. How many of you all are familiar with the Flint, Michigan situation? Anybody familiar with that? Anybody? Can anybody kind of just summarize what has happened in Flint, Michigan over the past few years?
Well, the water has been undrinkable for going on what, 6 years now,
Yes, exactly.
and uh, it seems like the government hasn't been doing anything about it as far as uh, restoring restoring the pipes and the you know the water system just so they can get clean water again. I've just been seeing a whole bunch of bottles being delivered there and things of that nature. But it's people can't even use their tap water anymore.
Yes, so in Flint, Michigan, um, and there was actually a movie made about that situation. But Flint, Michigan's, in order to save money, the state government actually switched the water source from Great Lakes source to a local river, and the alkalinity of that river was such that it dissolved lead out of lead pipes and into people's bodies essentially, and the problem went on for years even before it made came to national attention, and it still hasn't been completely resolved to this day. So what happened in Flint, Michigan? People having to drink bottled water all the time, not having access to tap water. That case in Flint, Michigan is very rare in our country, very rare, almost unheard of. In other parts of the world, that's pretty normal that people don't have access to clean drinking water. Many people, millions of people, probably close to a billion people, live day to day without easy access to clean drinking water. We take clean drinking water completely for granted. Whereas in other parts of the world, it's a daily struggle. And think about it. We can't survive very long without water as human beings. And yet there are many people on this planet who simply do not have something that we get pretty much easily every day in this country. Um, Now, in parts of the world where water is scarce, the gender that is most responsible for taking care of water of course, are women. Women are called the keepers of the water in many indigenous cultures, and I'm sure that you've seen pictures of women carrying water on their heads, and some of those women walk up to 6 or 7 miles to get water, miles. And then they go to school and maybe walk 4 or 5 miles to go to school after carrying that water for those long distances. So we are very lucky, blessed, whatever you want to call it, uh, that we don't have that situation here. But we aren't going to pretend that these situations don't exist. So we're going to be examining a couple of issues here. We're going to look at environmental equity, social inequality as it relates to water. So we're looking at the combination between the human geography of Latin America and the Caribbean, and also obviously the physical geography too, uh, where it, with regard to women's issues and gender equality and so on and so forth. So you will read a couple of articles by Jill Schneiderman. And then you will follow these instructions. I'm going to try to demonstrate these instructions for you very quickly because it is a little tricky. So in order to complete this assignment, so the first direction says download the Google Earth file. Of course, you have to read, so the Google Earth file, Trinidad water is here. Now notice this is not a, this is a KMZ file. And so let me just kind of maneuver here. Whoops. This is a KMZ file. And so I'm going to have to pull it into a different folder here. So you'll download the KMZ file. So what? Okay, so I'm going to bring my screen share back. So I've downloaded the KMZ file. So there it is. So you don't open up this file. When I give this assignment, people try to open that file up and they'll say, Dr. Padgett, this file doesn't work. You have to open it with a certain type of software called Google Earth. So you all have heard of Google. So we will go to Google here, and then you'll scroll down to where it says Google Earth. Open it up. And here's where it gets a little tricky. Hopefully, won't get too tricky for Dr. P. We'll see. Google Earth is dragging right now. Come on now. Come on, Comcast. Okay, so here is the Google Earth program. And now we will follow the instructions. We'll go to projects. And let's see, it's always, let's see. Oh, there it is. It's working so far. Projects. And then we will go to, after projects, we'll click on open. Boom, boom. Okay, there we go. And it says import KML file from computer. And we go to the KML file, open it, and yes, adding features. So it's taking us to Trinidad and Tobago. Don't we all wish we were there now? Okay, so here's Trinidad and Tobago, an island in the Caribbean, or a group of islands in the Caribbean. Okay, so those are the instructions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so pulled that in. So if you notice, once you get the file uploaded and you have these yellow point symbols on the map, those point symbols you'll use those to answer questions. So let's go down to the question number 1. It says use information from the 2 articles by Jill Schneiderman and the Google Earth map to write detailed 200 or more word responses to each of the following questions. So you have, for number 11, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. So the first one says describe in detail at least 3 water scarcity or water quality issues faced by women and inhabitants of Trinidad. So you will do at least 3 screen captures. So you'll go here, back into the program. I'll just demonstrate one for you. Let's see. You can zoom in, zoom out. Notice there are plenty of these little point symbols. Let's see what's here. And then you can read what's happening here, blah, blah, blah. So then you can do a screen capture. Again, you can print the whole thing. I'm not going to give you any take off the style points. So here's a problem dealing with so you will here figure 1. Water access issues in Plum Matan. And then you'll get a second screen capture, perhaps. Here's enfranchisement of women as water managers here. Notice these essays are quite far. It's quite extensive in some cases. Screen cap, print screen. Boom. Paste. Whoops. Figure 2. And so on and so forth. And then after you get your 3 screen captures, then you'll summarize essentially what you see. Now, as you write your essay, you will have to support your essay with references from the 2 articles by Jill Schneiderman. And so those 2 articles are included in your reading assignment. 2 articles by Jill Schneiderman. Writing assignment. So here are the articles. Water, Women, and Community in Trinidad, West Indies, PDF documents. So I'm going to be looking for references to these readings that are related to the maps that you pull out of the Google Maps map. And then you'll do that. That's in the second question. Same thing. How are people negatively impacted by water scarcity and the ways they're negatively impacted? Again, a couple of screen captures, write your essay. Then the third question, 2 screen captures of where some water scarcity or water quality issues were remedied. Where are places where there were solutions put in place for water quality issues in Trinidad? And then finally, what hydrologic cycle principles do you think are relevant to solving these types of problems? So first, you might have to go outside of these sources here to find out what the hydrologic cycle is, what are the components of the hydrologic cycle, and then you will write your essay here. Now, this next question is pretty much expository. Just what did you find most interesting about this assignment? What did you find most challenging? Did you learn anything? Of course you did. I don't want to see, did you find anything interesting about this assignment? No. Was it challenging? No. You have to actually answer the question. Then finally, on a scale of 1 to 10, rank your understanding of the importance of the hydrologic cycle to remedying environmental and or gender inequity issues. And so you're kind of combining how do we empower women in this case, perhaps uh, through our understanding of the hydrologic cycle? And you're going to have to be really creative with that last part of the answer. So, question 12 is more expository, really asking your opinion. That should not be difficult at all. Okay, so I am going to end this recording now. I pretty much have covered the assignment and what is required over the next week. Uh, so I'm going to end the recording here.